I'm gonna put on my reading glasses, my seeing goggles for this one because this 3-minute article took me on a expected journey. So this is a Medium article that says 45% of women estimated to be single and childless by 2030. Now, I already had thoughts because of that title, but I will dive into that in a little bit. Recent data predicts that 45% of women between the ages of 25 to 44 will be single and childless by the time 2030 rolls around. The number of single women in the US is expected to rise by 1.2% every year. This is an article written by Mark Higley Bagley. So before I dive into some key points in here and share some thoughts, I just want to introduce myself. Hello, my name is Shayna. I am child-free, joyfully, prayerfully child-free, covered in the blood. I'm also a recovering Pentecostal, so if you hear me using all, please just don't. I can't stop myself. I find it, phrases like this, they tickle me. I also am, so I talk a lot about that here, and then on the journalism side, I write a lot about food, beverage, and travel politics. So if any of that sounds like a vibe, please like, share, and subscribe. I'll also be posting a lot more of my travel vlogs. Those are kind of backed up right now. I've been in so many different time zones lately. I'm still catching up. Just moved to Spain. I'm still getting my footing, right? So let's just dive in. So we're just going to start off strong, just jumping straight in. We're told by our culture that a woman who's unmarried and has no children is empowered and in charge of her own life. She has escaped the unnecessary burden of raising a family and being a slave to her husband. At least, that's what our society has convinced us. Sadly, many women have adopted the modern feminist lifestyle and have chosen to sleep around, abort their baby if they unexpectedly get pregnant, and swear off marriage. But these cultural trends are going to have a tremendous impact on the future of American society. Morgan Stanley estimates that 45% of women in their prime working years, ages 25 to 44, will be single and childless by the time 2030 arrives. Now, ladies, as I've said many times before, the men and the government are shaking in their patent leather boots. They are so scared that we are going to realize how happy and free we can be if we put the thought of men and babies in the deepest corner, in the furthest recesses, in the deepest sunken places of our lives. Shaking, quaking in their boots. Now, in reading these first 3 paragraphs, I was like, actually, it sits and fits, because the orange flag that was pinged to me was this. Remember I was talking about this title? 45% of women estimated to be single and childless by 2030. Why not child-free? Childless, and I've made a video about this. I'm going to pin it over here. But childless implies that you want children, but whether it's for financial purposes, because of whatever's going on, because of medical things, you cannot have children. There is less. You have less because you don't have children, as opposed to child-free. There is a freedom in not having kids. There are more opportunities open to you because you don't have kids. You don't want kids for whatever reason. What that could also be, there's a lot of people in the child-free community that are like, listen, I could want kids if the world was a better place, if it wasn't so dangerous for children in the United States, in the world in general, if it wasn't so dangerous for women everywhere, if it wasn't so dangerous for anybody with a uterus to just exist peacefully. There's people like me, love kids, but also the thought of pregnancy horrifies me. Oh my God. Also, do I want that level of responsibility? Look at me, I'm a baby myself. So there's a different sentiment behind childless and child-free. And I think that men, especially men that just want women to breed, that just want anybody with a uterus to just be pumping out them babies, right? People that exist like that really cling to the phrase childless because they really want the reader to feel like the people that are embracing this lifestyle choice, have less, Oh, poor them. They just haven't thought this through. Oh my goodness, they must be so sad. Oh my goodness, they're hurting society. Boo them because they have left. This was the orange flag waving just because that word was over there. But listen, Mark's got more thoughts. Yay. Now listen, I'm not going to go through this whole article because I like my brain cells intact. But also, if I have to read some of this, so do you. Buckle up. Starting from the top, single women spend more than the average family household, especially when it comes to travel, nightlife, eating out, skincare and beauty, retail and shopping, etc. So of course, economists will attempt to frame it in a positive light that nearly half of women are single and childless. It can only be good for the economy. Quick pause. Why do I, Jesus, one second. Now, as I said in the beginning, in my journalism, my tippity typing side, I talk about the intersection of travel, food, beverage, and politics. Why? Because I inherently believe that everything is political, which also includes where we go, what we eat, what we drink, and who has access to it, who doesn't, who's producing it, who's making money off of this, how does this affect our, not just economy, but our environment, sustainability, accessibility, all of this, right? All of this, the haves and the have-nots of who gets to travel, who has the ability to travel, who has the ability to eat certain things, everything is political. And not just, while money is inherent to it, it doesn't just come down to money. A lot of it comes down to simply access. And what the booga is, and not just this booga, but other boogas that have existed and do exist, they look at what we're doing as through solely an economic lens, because the concept of exchanging goods, children being a good, is at the front and center of their mind. It's not about what is their quality of life. It's not about our quality of life either. And even the things that are mentioned in here, oh, they like to eat out and skincare and beauty and women like shopping. Have you ever considered the amount of Black women are the fastest growing demographic of entrepreneurs, period. Have you ever considered that maybe that's where we're putting our attention, our finances, our resources? No, women just like being pretty, and they like going out, and they like to have fun, and we are building lives for ourselves, free of ooga booga badness in our lives, peaceful. Also, the fact that we don't have to wake up to crying babies. One of them being potentially 5'11". He said that he was 6'3", but he lied on the first date, and we said, well, he's cute enough. There's so much more to life. Anyway, I'm so sorry. That was a tangent. Let's continue. Right underneath me. However, few are considering the negative impact this will have on greater society. The birth replacement rate is already trending below replacement, and surveys show that women who are unmarried and childless tend to struggle more with mental illness and feelings of self-confidence. And this is why actual journalism is so important, and reading is power, and so many people were left behind in No Child Left Behind. You see how this part right here is underlined? That means that there's a link. So all you got to do is click on it, and the holes are craters in this argument. You click on the link and it brings you here. The psychological effects of unmarried women in a field study on sample of unmarried women in Algeria. One, I looked through this. You can click. You can if you want to. It doesn't really matter. There's no conversation about childlessness. It is generally just about women, specifically women that are in later stages in life, not being married in Algeria. That's what he's talking about. That is what he used as evidence for women being child-free and sad. Right. I would also like to say that it is just that Google is free. Google is free. I just typed in women's rights, Algeria. And this is the first thing that comes up. Algerian women can inherit property, obtain divorce, retain custody of their children, gain an education, and work in many sectors of society. Women make up make up 70% of Algeria's lawyers and 60% of its judges. The United States can learn a lot from this statistic. And that booga's out here trying to be like, look at how sad they are. These accomplished women, these women leading the charge, the majority of the legal charge in their country, I'm sure that they are weeping in a bush. Now, I'm going to read a little bit more down here because it's going to connect to another video that I recently posted, which I will tag. I'm going to read and then I'm going to tag. Single childless women may be buying more things at the mall and traveling to various cities, but at what cost in the long run? The bedrock of any healthy society is the nuclear family, and it's sad to think that we will see fewer and fewer families in the future, right? So we don't need to read anymore. But once again, the focus on the nuclear family is something that comes up time and time and time again because capitalists, and a lot of men are capitalists, especially when it comes to their relationships with women, unfortunately, regardless of their sexual orientation. So, but especially men that are attracted sexually to women. The concept of the nuclear family keeps women isolated. It keeps them from building communities. It keeps them from attaining their dreams. It keeps them from doing whatever it is that they would like to do that will better themselves, their neighbors, their communities, and the world around them. Women that are trapped in a nuclear family and the only person that you have to build community with being a booga. Do you see how this benefits them? Do you see how all of this chaos that we have been going through, and it's a poorly constructed argument. There's not a lot of like sources cited in here. As a journal, and mind you, this person considers themselves like a whatever journalist. You can't, the way that we all just need to check our sources as we're consuming material. The way that we all just need to take that extra step to be like, okay, but is this true? Is this real? It's okay to say, hey, listen, I don't know. Hey, this is a thing that I heard along the grapevine, but don't go stating it as fact. Especially when the facts that you're stating are actually, like, that you're comparing oranges and boogas. Oranges and boogas. Boogas don't grow on trees. They grow in homes, in neighborhoods. They're your neighbors. But you know what? The one thing in here that I'm not even gonna side check. I'm not even gonna do the math on it. The one thing that fills my heart up with joy from this article is this. We're going right back to the beginning. 45% of women are estimated to be single and child-free by 2030. The number is expected to rise by 1.2% every year. That fills me up with a lot of joy. Why? Because while I recognize that there's a lot of people in this demographic that want to have children, but unfortunately because of the current state of reality that we are all subjected to, they're like, I can't bring children into this. Either I can't bring children into this or I can't afford to bring children into this. There's a lot of people that are realizing the current and present reality of our shared lived experiences and are making better choices. And I'm excited to befriend them. I'm excited for those people to be like, okay, if this is not going to be my life, then what could be? What is something else that could bring me joy? What is something else that I could do to fill up my time, to make friends with? Listen, you don't have to travel to, well, I will say, a lot of the friends that I make nowadays, I make through traveling. And a lot of them are women. The majority of them are women. And the majority of them, if not all of them, are joyfully child-free and single. And listen, we like date, we like talk to men, whatever is fine. They're not the center of it all. Why? Because there's so much more to life. There's so much more to life. So those are my thoughts. Those are my thoughts. You don't have to read the rest of this mind-numbing article. It's only 3 minutes, but listen, you keep your synapses intact. But I would love to hear your thoughts on this. So tippity-tap them away in the comment section, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I think that's everything. Okay, bye.